Twins get shelled tonight in the border battle. Game 1, they fall apart late, 17-7. That's your final score right now as we speak. Full deep dive, though, coming up next on the Minnesota Twins Postcast.
This is the Twins Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins Postcast right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network, your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman, main man CJ Baumgartner. He's on X at BombCJ30, Twins expert over at Zone Coverage. MN, I said 17-7. Okay, we're 1 out away. Oh, it just ended. Okay, but the last 9 runs, CJ's been due and given up to positional players, right? We had Jonah Bride give up 5. I don't even know who was on the mound for the Brewers when it got kind of got out of hand late. This one got ugly. We'll get into the meat potatoes, but never a good sign when you got somebody like Jonah Bride in there late in this one.
No, never a good sign, too, when the other team feels like using a position player on you when they're up so much, which is
went
just
both
another
ways.
Another slap in the face. Yeah, it's just anytime you have to have Jonah Bride step on the mound, he's got 4 appearances already this year. It's going to be a bad night.
Over under 8.5 appearances for Jonah Bride this year. He's already at 4, and it's only June 20th. You going
right,
over
and
or under?
And he got on this team in early May. He was a pretty late, he didn't start the year with the club either. So at this point, man, you would not be ridiculous for taking the over.
No, 100%. Lots to get into tonight. Where it all went wrong tonight, late in this one, top 7 specifically, plus Twins free falling in the latest power rankings by ESPN. We'll get into all that. But first, quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time, download that Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. A quick little recap, Twins Brew Crew, border battle, always highly anticipated. Everybody loves this matchup every year. One of the ones everybody circles first and foremost, it feels like when those Twins calendars come out. But game 1, Joe Ryan on the mound, pretty solid per usual, 5 1/3, just 3 hits, 3 earned runs. I mean, that's more than manageable for most offenses. Then came the doomsday innings, right? Top 7, Justin Topa gets absolutely worked. 5 runs allowed, 22 pitches, only records 1 single out on the night. 8-0, just like that. Matt Wallner hit a 2-run bomb that scored Buxton. Brooks Lee, as you mentioned before we went on air, he did extend his hitting streak to 19, which is fantastic. I'm not going to bring up who was off. Who cares, right? Brewers come back, though, with 4 more in the 8th, another crooked number in the 9th. Things just got way out of hand. 17-7, that's your final. 37-38 now on the year. So they finally slipped below 500. We've kind of all been waiting, watching slowly but surely, and now we're here. What was your biggest takeaways, kind of your 8 topics? What stuck out the most, I guess, tonight in this one?
Yeah, I mean, just basically a no-show from the offense, really, in this one. I mean, I know Topa blew up. I know Wentz blew up a little bit, and those are bad, and they deserve blame for this loss as well. But really, your offense just wasn't doing much of anything, and that rookie starting pitcher for Milwaukee, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's really good, and he's going to make me have to remember his name because he was a really highly anticipated pitching prospect, and you can see why. Throwing 100 easily off the mound as a starter. He had a slider that was 90-plus mile an hour that made Willie Castro almost twist his legs like a pretzel. It's insane. He was really on his game, and yeah, there's not much you can do when a pitcher is on like that, as talented as he is, but still, when you get no hit deep into the game, when you get down in order until the 6th inning, it's for a team that has postseason aspirations, at least coming into the year, they want to be in that light. You just can't have a night like you did tonight, and it just is really off-putting for the offense.
Jacob Misiorowski nailed it, right? 6 perfect innings. 6 perfect innings. So obviously tough when you go up against a pitcher with a start like that. But again, the offense, though, just not doing themselves any favors whatsoever. We talked about it. Let's get into it a little bit more. The turning point from today.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So 3-0, top 7. Twins still a fighter's chance, right? 3-0. Definitely still in that game for sure. And then what happened? How did it go all wrong, all south, I guess, so quick, so fast tonight? Lay it on us.
Yeah, I mean, the turning point really was when you looked at just I think it kind of goes a little bit into the end of Joe Ryan's day. Churio hits a double, advances to third on a throw. But Wallner tries to make a dive, kind of goes off his glove. Buxton tries to salvage it. He tries to get it in from home plate. Buxton gets it to Correa. Correa throws it in. Churio takes that extra base. And then when Topa comes in right away, he's just already down for the count when you got to run around third. You're trying to keep the game in play. And that really was the turning point, is when Topa came in already in a bad spot and just compounded on that. I mean, I think anybody can tell you that's really where the Twins slipped away, when all of a sudden a 3-0 game turns into like an 8-0 game, and you lost already.
Yeah. 8-0. You're already thinking, hey, when do we get Royce Lewis back? But obviously he wasn't really doing much in the lineup anyways. But do you have an update? Haven't talked to you in a while. Any update on Royce Lewis, the latest, what the ripple effect is so far with him out of the lineup as we wait?
Yeah, I believe the biggest thing is just for Royce that I believe he's doing some running. He's kind of like ramping himself back up. Timetable a little still to be determined, but kind of just on the right track for something, just on the right track for an injury like that with a hamstring. Obviously, you don't want to be too aggressive and coming back on it. But yeah, just kind of slowly doing that running and doing those things that kind of are trying to get him back in the lineup.
Plenty more deep dive. ESPN's latest power rankings are out. How far have the Twins fallen in just 1 week? That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a chance at a huge return, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. Well, I love FanDuel. When you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you go check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play, all on the same page where you place your bets. Again, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Not too late to get on some MLB future action while you're there. Twins sitting at plus 550 right now to come back and win that AL Central. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. All right, ESPN's latest power rankings are out. Last week, believe it or not, Twins ranked 11th on this list just last week. Feels like an eternity ago by now. 7 days later, though, they dropped all the way to 18th. So 11 to 18. Tigers, by the way, sitting at #1. Still trying to wrap my head around what they're doing this season. But
crazy.
You've got a 17-place gap right now between the top team in the division, the Tigers, at 1, to the second-place team, the Twins, at 2, all the way down at 18. Knee-jerk reaction, I guess, when you hear their free fall in the power rankings. What do you think? Well-warranted or maybe a little too harsh?
Kind of just shrug my shoulders and go, yeah, makes sense. And with the way they're
Feels
playing,
right.
I'm surprised it's not lower. Like, I mean, just It feels like, I do a lot of high school play-by-play, and there was a story that one of my coworkers told me about. He went to a high school coach, and he just said, well, we can't pitch, we can't field, and we can't hit. And that kind of just feels like how things are going for the Twins right now over the last few weeks.
Nerdy stat of the daytime. Any crazy stat, fun analytic, Twins related from tonight?
It's hard to find fun analytics at this point. I'm not even going to try. Looking at the Twins, in May, in terms of runs scored, they were 18th. So we had the big winning streak. They were 18th in runs scored. In June, actually, for a lineup as runs scored, they're sitting top 5, according to FanGraphs. But really where this thing has been won or lost has been in the pitching. The Twins in May were 3rd in all of baseball with a 3.11 ERA. In June, their 5.84 ERA, worst in all of baseball. And it's only going to get worse after tonight.
Not great. Not great. Don't go anywhere. Previews of games 2 and 3. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 10 million members to date. For me and my money, it's by far the easiest It's the most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. So simple, too. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more players' stats. Watch the winnings roll in. Strikeouts, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, game 2, border battle tomorrow, 1:10 first pitch. Simeon Woods Richardson back on the mound. Let's just simplify, man. We're just trying to get a dub, just trying to get back on the board, find your mojo. What's the number one thing, maybe the number one player, whatever it may be? What's the number one thing you're thinking about or looking at to get back on track in games 2 and 3?
Man, it feels like we've been saying this every single time, but you just need your starting pitcher to go out there tomorrow and just, can you get 5 innings and not allow 5 runs or more? Can you just do that? And Joe Ryan, first part, did, although he had the pitch count get up and kind of got out of control, which had the bullpen have to come in early. But basically, if you're Simeon Woods Richardson, can you please just keep the train on the tracks? And then it flips over to the offense. You need to score first for us, and not just a solo home run. You need to be able in the first 3 innings to hang a crooked number, 2 or more in an inning. Can you get that crooked number up and at least give your pitching staff just a little bit of help in this one? They're going to need to score early, and they're going to need their starting pitcher just to be able to get to 5 innings. You had to use a good amount of your lower leverage bullpen today, so all the heavy hitters are still back, and I'll imagine Twins will be kind of throwing at it just to try and get a win in the series.
This is what you'll be talking about.
What are we talking about right now when it comes to the Minnesota Twins? Officially now below 500 for the first time in, it feels like weeks since they went on that 13-game win streak, that heater. What's the identity? Do we know what the identity of this team is? It was pitching for the longest time. Lately, it's just been a total crapshoot night in, night out. Do you still think they have a high enough ceiling to kind of turn things around? What's their floor? How ugly could this whole thing get? I guess it's only June 20th. And again, just feels like what we talked about at the end of 2024. Like, are we still trying to figure out who this team is? I guess that's my question. Where are they headed this year? Do you feel like we've got a pretty good idea at this point, knowing everything you know?
Well, and that's the thing, too, is the Twins had to figure this out last year, right? When they ended the year, what team were they? Because for about half the year, they played like the worst team in baseball. And the other half, they played like a top 5 team in baseball. And they didn't make any big moves in the offseason. They didn't trade any key players. They made a couple nice free agent signings in Bader and Ty France. But overall, they really didn't do any kind of mass movement to the core pieces of the roster. And they're kind of getting what they paid for in that sense. They tried to bank on the better parts, but right now they've really been getting a lot of the worst parts of last season. And it's not a great look for the long-term kind of outlook of the franchise, because it's, the Denny Green quote, they are who we thought they were. And for a lot of this fan base, they didn't really do anything to kind of change up a team for, again, half the year play like one of the worst teams in baseball. And there's not a lot of fans that are shocked that they're playing like one of the worst teams in baseball.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Just one of the one of the most just iconic like one-liners. If you don't know what we're talking about, just go YouTube it right after this show. That's about as fun as we're going to get on tonight's show. 17-7 slacking against the border battle Brewers. What else is going on before we get out of here? We got another 30, 60 seconds. What else is going on around the rest of the league? Almost 3 months into the season now, a little bit bigger sample size, still a long way to go. Anything surprising you, catching your eye as of late? Could be a team, could be a player, anything specific.
Always the Detroit Tigers having the best record in baseball really shocks me, so that's number one. But really, as of late, the Rafael Devers trade is just insane for that franchise to be able to trade a guy like that. I know that there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes and who knows what, but for a team in Boston, you talk about a team without an identity, and I know they got a couple prospects that are coming up, but it just kind of feels like the Red Sox kind of they don't really know who they are and what they're about. And it's just it's very shocking to see a team as big of a market and as proud of a history play small ball like they're the Kansas City Royals or the Minnesota Twins or whatever. It's very fascinating and very shocking. And yeah, I don't know. It'll be very interesting to monitor how the Red Sox use all of that money that they save theoretically to go get their own guys. But something tells me they're kind of going to run into the situation like these small market teams are, where they're going to hoard a little bit of that cash.
Yeah, quick follow-up to that. Last question, then we'll get out of here. Obviously, Yankees, the faraway favorites in that division. You talk about the Red Sox clearly selling and trying to figure out who they are. Baltimore obviously regressed quite a bit this year, underwhelming, disappointing. The Rays, we played them, 2 weeks ago. I think we lost 2 of 3 to them. What does that division look like the rest of this year, and then just kind of, in 2026 and beyond, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, really for this year, it's fascinating because the Orioles you'd think would be a better team. They have the hitting core, but they're, again, they pretend like they're a small market team like the Terry Ryan era where they just didn't have any money and then they wouldn't go out and sign any pitching, and their pitching is kind of what's been the downfall for them this season. But I think if you get a GM in there that'll spend a little bit more money, and who knows what ownership will want to do, they should get back on. They just have such a deep farm system and young talent that you think they'll bounce back. Tampa Bay, once again this season, is doing a good job of just finding all these spare pieces and making them work around. And all. Yeah. They have new ownership that's coming in, which is going to be huge for them. They sold for $1.7 billion, which, by the way, Twins are not budging on the $1.7 billion before. They certainly aren't going to budge on that $1.7 billion number to sell the franchise as well. It's going to be that or maybe even higher, who knows, with trying to sell that franchise. Boston looking for their identity. And then, of course, you have the Yankees who are doing their thing and are first place in their division as well. So the AL East, and then the Blue Jays are having a nice bounce back season as well. They're playing well, and the talent that they have on that roster as well. So it's always fascinating in that AL East, but of course, sadly, the Yankees just sitting on top there.
Yeah, cream of the crop, no doubt about it. Great stuff as always. Twins get blown out in game 1, border battle, 17-7. That's your final. 37-38 now, officially back below 500 on the year. Huge shout out, though, to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Love you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out all CJ's work on X at BombCJ30, plus all the work he's always ripping up over at ZoneCoverageMN.com as well. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. Game 2 tomorrow, 1:10 first pitch, SWR on the mound. Catch you right here, same time, same place. Until then, signing out.